What's up, guys? Welcome to this new stream. This stream is a sequel to yesterday's stream. It's the stream titled "Why I Dread Coming Home for the Holidays," and that stream is about the stress and anxiety that I experience when I am at home for over the holidays or summer break. Um, I'm a college student, by the way. So it's about the stress and anxiety that I feel when I'm at home living with my family, which is partly due to the F tier relationship between my father and I. And as a quick side note, for this stream, I prepared some. I've written down an outline of the points that I want to cover, so that I don't. It's to make the stream more structured, and so I don't forget to mention anything important that I want to say. So I hope that this stream goes a lot smoother than yesterday's stream, which was, frankly low quality. Lots of stammering, lots of stuttering. Um, so, well, I have a good feeling about this stream. I think this is going to be quite a bit better since I have prepared. So let's just jump right into it with the first slide here. Um, so I'm just going to summarize yesterday's stream. So for those who didn't see the stream, it centers around the following points: the cost and benefits of tough love parenting, um, and the problem of what if the kid isn't tough enough to handle it. So tough love parenting, it can make it can make a young man grow up into a tough, resilient, disciplined person, but it can also backfire if the kid just isn't emotionally equipped to handle it. Um, in that stream, I also go over why my relationship with my father got in such a sorry state, and why it's almost impossible to repair with communication alone. It can be salvaged only by showing him success. So why is that the case? It's because so here's how it goes. So first, I would do I would do a bad thing. That's like, for example, getting in trouble at school, just doing something I'm not supposed to do, or I would make a mistake. So first, I do something wrong, and then um, my dad responds to that in a way that's too harsh for me to emotionally handle. I think that I'm more sensitive than the average person, and well, this causes the dynamic between the two of us to worsen. So it makes me feel uncomfortable, uneasy when I'm around him, because I'm just nervous that he might say something that'll hurt my feelings. So, and because of that, I tend to be very avoidant of him, and I tend to sort of minimize how much I communicate with him, which obviously is not good for the relationship, for the relationship dynamic. Um, yeah. So, well, this is not like it's not one of those situations like child abuse situations with a clear villain and victim. So it's not like those unfortunate stories, um of like the kid does everything right, but the parent just keeps like yelling at them. That's not what it is. Like I am the one who started it, because every quote unquote mean thing that my dad says to me is it's first sparked by me doing something that I'm not supposed to do, such as getting in trouble at school, or failing classes, or just being lazy, or not following instructions, things like that. So I'll give you a quick anecdote. In When I was, I think, in fourth grade, I vented to one of my classmates about how my dad always gets mad at me, and so my classmate told me that I'm the one making him mad, and that's like a splash of harsh reality, but it's true. But with that being said, the way that he responds could also be improved, right? Um, so I'll just touch on tough love parenting again. So you know how there's this like popular notion that if a child's behavior doesn't improve with soft love, the solution is tough love to go hard on the kid, right? So in the West, like there's this common Western saying of like when it comes to a very disobedient child, usually a boy, sometimes people say like, "Oh, the military will straighten him out," right? You've probably heard that before. Um, okay, real quick, non-player character posted in the chat. Let's see if I can put the okay, yeah. Yeah, I didn't think to use this obvious feature in the last stream, to put the comment on the screen. So he says tiger dad. This is not true. He is not a tiger parent. He is quite a bit more demanding than the average parent in the West, but he's by no means a tiger parent. He is far more lenient than the tiger parents that I have read about in tiger parent stories. So no, he does believe in tough love, and he has kind of a tough parenting style, but he does not it's not to the point of being a tiger dad. So that's not accurate. Um, okay, well, speaking of which, in Chinese, there's this like proverb, I think, called 敬酒不吃罚酒. And it's a metaphor. It's about like wine or some shit. But what it means, like if like a polite if you don't comply to a polite request, then you're gonna have the punishment handed to you, pretty much. It's like it's like in a Discord server. If you don't follow the rules, it's like, look, we ask you nicely, you still break the rules, then you're gonna get the ban hammer, right? That's basically what it means. So yeah, that's like it's like the notion that love doesn't work, then answer is to go harder. So that's why my father is quite hard on me. Um, okay, so the damaged relationship dynamic. I have said that I think I'm more sensitive than the average kid, and well, the whole dynamic, it just exacerbates the issue because it's like even normal stuff hurts my feelings. Like if my dad just tells me like make sure to keep the counter dry, that might hurt my feelings. So like I'm just stressed out at home all the time. I'm sort of trying to do what it takes to minimize the amount of times I get spoken to by my dad. Um, so like this oversensitivity issue makes it so that my dad has a harsh impact on me, even if he doesn't intend for it to be harsh. For instance, um, well, in my teen years, he would like recommend books for me to read, such as self-help books like Atomic Habits and like Principles by Ray Dalio, like books like that. And he would say, okay, well, he would say something like, I suggest you read this book, right? And I would always interpret that as an order. For like a suggestion to me is an order because it's like it feels kind of like a guy like robbing you. Like a guy has a gun pointed to your head and he says, "I suggest you hand over your wallet." Like it's not a suggestion. So that's how it feels. But he doesn't intend it that way. Like he genuinely means it as as a suggestion. But because I am sensitive in that way, it has sort of like a punishing effect on me, even if he doesn't mean for it to be a punishment. Like if I don't read the book, I'm gonna have to suffer the awful consequence of being spoken to in a way that hurts my feelings, which of course I want to avoid. Um, Okay, so here's the last part that I'm going to talk about this second bullet point here. The relationship between my father and I cannot be repaired by communication alone. So is the response to the first comment here by David. Um, why don't you tell him that he's hurting you? I do. I have done that. But the key is that like I said before, I started it. You know, even though my dad doesn't respond in the best way, I'm the one who sort of like threw the first punch, if you will. It's not a great analogy because I'm not trying to hurt him, but you know what I mean. Like I'm the one who's getting in trouble at school. I'm the one who's doing what I'm not supposed to do. So and this and like I was badly behaved all throughout my teenage years as well. So when I would bring up concerns to my father, I would tell him, okay, well, the way you're talking to me, it's like I feel a lot of pressure. The way that you're talking to me, I find hurtful. I think, and this ties back to the tough love point. I think all he hears is excuses, because if I imagine it from his perspective, I'll put myself in his shoes, and so my son is this kid who doesn't listen. My son is getting in trouble at school all the time, always acting up, and he's telling me to go easier on him. Right? Like, my son's just making excuses. This is a kid who doesn't wanna do good, and he's asking for me to go easier on him, right? So you see what I mean? Like, I think my dad just sees that as me trying to get my way. It's just like an excuse, and he wants to teach me the discipline. So he's still, like he keeps up the tough love sort of, approach. Um, okay, so, non-player character says, "The subtle art of not giving a fuck is quite good." Yeah, I haven't read that all the way through yet, but, I'm actually I was gonna recommend this book in, a future video. So, yeah. Piero says, "Ethnic parents are like that, brutal parenting pill." Yep. Um, generally, that's true. Non-player character says, "You're overweighing his opinion of you, and it's messing up your self-esteem/mental health. You can't assign so much weight to his opinion of you." Um, well, look, it's, I mean, there's truth to what he's saying. I'm not sort of, taking my dad's opinion of me as, like, gospel, you know, definitely not like the word of God, but I'm it's like it's useful feedback, it's useful information, and the important thing is that, it ties back to what Piero said about ethnic parents. Generally, Asian parents tend to be quite blunt, um, and but that's a double-edged sword, but the good part is that people in the real world are very, like, politically correct, and they're polite, and they won't give you the criticism to show you the reality. Like, a lot of people are not going to tell you the harsh reality, but like the very blunt Asian parent, he's gonna tell you the reality so that you know how much you have to improve. Like, he's not gonna sugarcoat it, and that makes it, like, it's useful feedback. Non-player character says, "Do your best, you literally can't do better than your best effort." Yeah. Okay, so, okay, well, the final bullet point is the stress of living at home as someone who finds normal tasks challenging. So, in last night's stream, I, I said that I suspected that I might be neurodivergent. I suspect I might have ADHD. Um, yeah, so it makes it difficult for me to meet my dad's standards, even if these standards may be pretty normal. Um, All right, it's time to move on to the second slide. There we go. So I'll just read this comment out. Um, Sounds like your dad is a perfectionist. In a perfectionist's mind, perfect is the norm, and mistakes are almost unnatural. I wouldn't be surprised if his parents were perfectionists as well. In a way, you've also developed some perfectionistic tendency. Just look at how much you hesitate before you publish each video, or how much you worry about stammering or fumbling with your words when you stream. Perfectionism is a miserable approach to life. The end stage of perfectionism is being paralyzed from doing anything because you're either too afraid of failure or overwhelmed by the amount of work it takes to do a wait a minute, to do a perfect job. How you relate to mistakes can have a profound impact on your life. People learn most things through trial and error. Don't even think of it as making mistakes. It's just learning. So I think this is a good comment. Um, I um I agree with his take on perfectionism and like learning from your mistakes and just like keeping your head up. Even if you lose, even if you fall down, that the important part is you get up again, right? So that's all good. But where I don't agree is that it's not accurate that my dad is a perfectionist. So I clarify the situation in this response. Hey, deleted. I appreciate your advice. You're right that perfectionism is a bad state of mind to have in life. I don't agree with you saying my dad is a perfectionist or demands perfection from me in an unreasonable way. The amount of mistakes that's acceptable depends on the situation. If you're doing the International Math Olympiad, just getting one question right is a huge achievement. Of course, no one expects perfection in that. On the other hand, there are tasks like, oh my, sorry about that. There are tasks like brushing your teeth, doing laundry, washing dishes, and eating meals. Okay, bro, come on. Turn on on the other hand, there are tasks like brushing your teeth, doing laundry, washing dishes, and eating meals. The vast majority of people can and do achieve 100% in these areas with near zero effort. Scoring 90% on a tough exam is commendable. But if you achieve 90% success at using the toilet, something's wrong. Why are you messing up 10% of the time? Now, this is just an example. I manage perfection in using the bathroom just fine. And I'm grateful that I don't have that I don't have that much like high support needs. In summary, expecting perfection in the very basic life skills is not an unreasonable standard to hold someone to if they're neurotypical, right? Unfortunately, some people have special needs and they cannot manage that themselves. Um, so the issue is not that my dad is a perfectionist. The issue is he doesn't recognize and accommodate for my potential neurodivergence. My dad isn't mad at me for just making mistakes. Let me make that clear. He's frustrated and disappointed because I appear to not learn from said mistakes. Since I make the same kinds of mistakes over and over again, all he can conclude is that I'm not trying. Given that he doesn't understand neurodivergence, he's acting in the most reasonable way he can. So that's my response. Um, well, to expand on that, um, when I was a little kid, my dad um, like observed signs of above average intelligence in me. When I was about kindergarten, first grade, about 5, 6 years old, I think I was quite a bit ahead of my peers. Um, so my dad elevates his standards based on seeing intelligence and talent in me. But because he doesn't really understand neurodivergence, he doesn't lower his expectations for based on me having trouble with these everyday tasks. So like the idea that I brought this up to him, like the idea that some people just have it harder mentally because their brains are wired differently. That's an idea that he doesn't really buy into. He sees it as just like a woke, it just like some woke, it's like a woke talking point that like the left just invented. So yeah, that sums it, to sum it up, I think that the issue is not that he is a perfectionist. The issue is that he just really doesn't get what I'm going through. And to him, it makes complete sense why he would expect these things to expect me to be able to do these things correctly all the time. But there's a caveat, and look, not gonna lie, sometimes my dad is correct about me not trying. And when I was about like 15, 16, 17, I would always sleep in really late, and my dad wanted me to wake up early every day, like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Not super early, like 4 a.m. Just to not sleep in until like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Like good. That's good. Um, like to have a good sleep schedule. So look, I mean, yes, I did set alarms to try to wake up early, but I did not even attempt to stop using my phone at night when I was in bed. So it's like when he scolded me, like when I would wake up late and I would, show up and he would sort of say like what's wrong? Why you get up so late again? Like can I really complain? I didn't really try my best, did I? Okay, so David posted in the chat. That's how my dad is. My dad thinks everyone has the same brain and the difference is hard work. Mhm. Um, yeah, brutal, brutal. Oh shit, I forgot to should have like given you guys an outline of the sections of this stream because I haven't delivered on the title and thumbnail so far. Okay. So Il Perfetta asks, "Hi, what answer you want? I'm 28. I can give you my point of view." Um okay, well in the rest of this stream I'm going to go through a couple of anecdotes. Um like just I'm like how my dad treats me and then some of the mistakes I made as well. And yeah, well, these anecdotes will provide some background info for the real question that I want to ask, and I'm gonna put it out there right now. So, what I want to know is to what extent are my dad's expectations on me unrealistic, and to what extent is my behavior inadequate, not meeting a standard that is reasonable and normal. So let's just say like imagine on one side of a spectrum it's just like my dad does not have unrealistic expectations and I'm the one who's just falling short, like it's just me. And let's say on the opposite end of the spectrum, um I'm actually doing quite well and it's my dad whose expectations are unreasonable. And I want to know sort of like where on that spectrum the truth lies. That's the goal of this stream. That's what I want to learn from you guys. So, all right, let's get into the anecdotes. All right, now just the other day. Okay, so I live. In my family, I have a younger brother and I have a dog. So it's my mom, my dad, brother, and the dog. So, just the other day, my brother and well, actually, everyone was out. Everyone was out, and I was home alone. And I think my dad or my brother had left the dog in the yard, and it was getting kind of dark. It was like 7, 8 p.m. And my dad comes home, and actually, before this, the dog was kind of like barking and like whimpering and like looking at me through the window. So, okay, well, to provide context, um, because because the whole situation with like being stressed at home and being anxious about getting things wrong, and my dad saying something to me. So I always have at home. I carry around this mindset of just do what you're supposed to do and stay in your lane, right? So if my dad leaves something in a certain way, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to mess with it. So I kind of think that my mindset is like whatever way things in this house are set up, it's set up for a reason, and I'm not going to argue with it, right? And so I just do what I'm told to do, and I don't do anything else. I don't try to like mess with stuff that is set up a certain way. So I assumed that because my dad had had let the dog out in the yard before he went out, I thought the dog was supposed to be out until he came back. Like I thought that I didn't know that I was supposed to take the dog in. But my dad comes back. My dad comes back inside, and he tells me like, "Oh, you're not supposed to ignore him. Like if he's like the dog, I'm not supposed to ignore the dog. I was supposed to take the dog inside." And hearing that, I felt bad because like the dog was you know asking for attention. So I guess I could have made the dog happier if I had taken him inside. But I'm just like when I'm at home, I'm just trying to get by. I'm just trying to make the correct decisions and take the correct actions in order to not, get spoken to in a way that will hurt my feelings. And I assumed that I was supposed to leave the dog out. I didn't know that I was supposed to take the dog in. Um okay, well, another anecdote is so the other day to give some context, my dad usually eats like a well, we when we have meals together, my brother and I, we eat rice as well as like the other stuff that's on the table that we share. And my excuse me, while my dad, he's like health maxing, health maxing, so he's he doesn't like eat bowls of rice. He sort of he just eats like vegetables, like a salad type thing. But he still eats like meat and other stuff that we all eat at dinner time. So, well, sometimes he also like okay, well, I'll just get into it. Um, so he cooked 3 bowls of pasta and, like, 1 bowl of, like, vegetables, and he told me, to take everything to the table. So I took 2 bowls of pasta to the table and the vegetable bowl to the table, and I asked him, "Oh, am I also supposed to should I take the 3rd bowl of pasta to the table?" And he says, "Yes." And, and he told me, "Sometimes you need to think." That's what he said, "Sometimes you need to think." But it's like I did. I did think, and it's like I don't well, here's how the thinking went. And if any of you guys are familiar with the book Thinking Fast and Slow, I was thinking in system 1, not system 2. So, like, when I explain the thinking, it's gonna sound really autistic, but I wasn't thinking about it that explicitly. I was just kind of using my quick intuition. It's that well, like I said, my dad, usually, like, the base of his meal is, like, the vegetables, right? So he usually eats something different from my brother and I. And and also sometimes he cooks more stuff at a time than we're going to eat, at that meal. So we just put like the extra in the fridge so we can eat that, the following day, or use that for another meal, or to give to my brother, because to as lunch, for school, for my brothers to take to school for lunch. So it to me, it seemed plausible that the third bowl of pasta could have just been one of those extras, and not something that my dad was going to eat right then and there. So yeah, that was my thinking, and it's like, well, and my dad expected me to just sort of know that that we were all gonna eat all of the stuff that he just cooked. But that's not always the case, and it's like, see, that's, ties back to the question I'm asking. I don't know if that expectation is unrealistic, or if I'm just autistic. Oh, yeah, by the way, he said sometimes you need to think, and he said that that didn't really hurt my feelings a whole lot. That, like, barely hurt, because he said it in quite a kind and calm tone of voice, and I'm, like, ultra sensitive to the delivery, especially the tone of voice. So if he said that in an intense way, it's sometimes you need to think. Like, if he said that in an intense way, I would, like, feel like I wanted to die. Like, that I would feel, like, really bad, but, he said it in, like, a calm and kind way, so that didn't hurt my feelings. It, like, barely hurt my feelings, so that's good. Wait, was I muted the whole time? Yo, did you hear what I said about you guys, did you hear what I said about the, landscape art, or was I muted? Okay, well, no one's saying anything so far, so I guess I was good. Guess I wasn't muted. Okay, so I'll just revisit the title of this video. Am I failing at normal or are the expectations abnormal? So look, I need answers. I need answers. And look, I know that I'm not gonna get the answers just from you guys watching this stream. Gonna have to find those answers through life experience and therapy. Okay, but so here's something. I don't feel like I struggle with these basic life tasks when I'm away from home. Now that begs the question, do I actually perform better when I'm not around my dad? Or do I mess up just as much when I'm away from home, but other people just don't tell me because they're being polite? Which is it? So that's a question I have. So it's like I don't know whether I'm just autistic or I don't know whether like I'm just autistic and I'm having trouble meeting normal performance standards at home, or if it's that my dad's expectations are unrealistic and I'm not actually like that I'm not actually that far gone. Um, so for instance, okay, well, also I need answers to find out what the truth of the matter is because look, I'll give you an example. So in my senior year of high school, my dad said that my writing was bad. And well, it's not he doesn't only give negative feedback, he also gives constructive criticism. Um, so that's good. But my senior year English teacher said that my writing was good. So what's the truth? What's the truth, right? Is it that my dad's standards are high, or is it that the is my dad having unrealistic standards, or is the teacher just like being nice? Because teachers, American teachers, like they can't really tell the kid that they suck or anything, like they're always gonna give positive words of encouragement. Like that's how teachers are in the West. So like, where's the truth? And like, I don't think that I should simply consider the truth to be the average of all the opinions I hear from people because that's like Goldilocks fallacy, right? That the truth is not always in the middle. Oh yeah, another like pair of opposing viewpoints is another pair of opposing viewpoints is my mom said that my dad is controlling. And when I brought this up to my dad said that I shouldn't listen to what she said. That he said that no, that I'm not controlling. That's just something that your mom says. And my dad says my mom is irresponsible. And my mom says my dad is emotionally immature, like low emotional intelligence. And it's like they both have their flaws, but they also have different viewpoints. And I want to figure out what the truth is. Yeah, so like my parents don't get along. Like they used to like when I was young, they used to like when I was like a little kid, they used to argue a lot, but then they kind of just stopped talking to each other completely. So like they're practically like totally separate now, even though we live under the same roof. So opposing viewpoints was my life. And that's why my thought process is like a debater. That's why I'm this debate type of person who's like thinking in like arguments, counter arguments, you know, almost every idea that I come up with in my head, I can like instantly come up with a counter argument. So and that's why it's that's probably influenced by the environment I grew up in, and that's probably why, I often hesitate to take a firm stance on issues such as abortion, you know, like, because I can see both sides and I'm just I just struggle to, like, take a stance on either side, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but, because opposing viewpoints was my life, right? So it just kinda makes me feel unsure about where the truth lies. Let's see, I'm gonna look through my notes and see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. Oh, yes, I did actually miss this part. So my faults, um, is that as a kid, I misbehaved, I was disobedient, I, you know, I just did not comply, did not follow directions. Another fault of mine was that I was quite lazy, and sometimes when my dad would, place a demand on me that I thought was too difficult, I would find a way to kind of half-ass it or get around it and, like, cover up the fact that I didn't really try. So those were my faults. Now what are my dad's faults? Well, he's like the type who doesn't suffer fools. Like, he seems to have very little patience for people who are slower or stupider than he is. And he's a very intelligent, he's very sharp. Um, so an example is that, well, I understand that he is, under a lot of stress from work. So, like, I understand why he's like this, but sometimes, like, he'll take his frustration out on AIs, on bots like Amazon Alexa. So, if, like, Alexa, like, accidentally picks up his voice and, like, plays music, if, like, the Alexa sort of mishears, and starts playing music, then he might say something like, "Echo, shut up," or something like that. So he sort of, like, takes out his frustration on bots. And, when he gets, like, scam calls, or when he's, like, calling customer support, when he's talking to the AI, not the person, but the AI, he'll say, like, "Give me an agent, you dummy. Give me an agent." Like, he'll say it, like, in a very sort of forceful way. So, um, yeah. Well, that also, like, that quality of his personality also kind of, shows through in the way that he teaches me, and he's really not a good teacher. Um So when I was in school, when he was teaching me math, um, he would come across as kind of mean if I didn't understand the like I would feel like hurt by the things that he would say if I like struggled to understand or the math concepts, or if I kept getting the questions wrong, he would be like, why don't you understand? You know. So yeah, he's like the type who doesn't suffer fools. Um, Another issue. And I think that, like, I agree with what my mom said about, like, his, like, emotional intelligence. He's like, he's very male-brained. He's very logical, analytical, but I think he's too male-brained. Um, so he didn't pick up on my indirect requests, like my hints for emotional support. So for example, I think when I was, like, I don't know, 10 years old, I guess, I told him, if I recall correctly, I told him that if I would win an award, I would win the award for feeling the most pain, like the most emotional pain. And like, he just answered the question logically. He said, "No, like, you're not the one who feels the most pain, because there's people who, break both of their legs in an accident. Like, they feel way more pain. And that's that's like a neutral answer, right? That's a correct answer, but he missed the emotional subtext of why I brought that up. I was I knew the answer. I knew that it wasn't true that I was the one who felt the most pain. I was only saying that to try to like to try to fish for emotional support, to try to fish for some reassurance, and he didn't give that to me. Um, oh yeah, here's another one. I think I was about 15 when this happened. So my dad's like I would feel quite a lot of academic pressure, and I didn't have as much like free time to hang out with other kids from school as the Western kids did. So I brought this up to my dad. I said that I feel like I'm just being a robot, like I'm just, hitting the books, grinding on the math problems, but I don't really have much of a personality. I feel like I don't really get to be myself. I don't get to express myself. I'm just kind of forced to be a robot. That's as I told him that that's how I felt. So his response was that I'm actually worse than a robot. Right, and this is, like, because I was getting in trouble at school a lot, and I was lazy, I didn't follow directions, I didn't follow through with the things that my dad asked of me. So, he told me that I'm actually worse than a robot, because a robot at least does what it is told and successfully carries out the tasks that it is asked to do. Um, yeah, so that's true. I mean, that is a valid critique. Yeah, but like, as he was saying that, like, tears were coming out of my eyes. So, yeah, it's like that's such it's just like a really male-brained answer, right? And so I think you guys, most of you guys have probably heard the trope, this sort of like not really like a meme, but it's sort of like like, when like a woman tells her male significant other, her boyfriend or husband, an issue that she has. And she gets upset when the man replies by giving her logical advice, by giving her a solution. And the woman wants her man to give her just like emotional support and reassurance and not go straight to giving the logical solution, right? So like my dad is like that type of guy, the type of guy who goes straight to giving the logical solution, doesn't really give emotional support. Um, he's like that type of guy, you know. But that's not to say that he never gave emotional support, because there were times when like one time I just sort of like exploded, I guess, and I just like shouted and like threw some shit because I just like fucking broke down. And, my dad just, like, hugged me, like, embraced me in his arms and told me, like and just, like, said some I forgot what he said, but it was, like, it was emotional reassurance. So he does do that sometimes, but I feel like he just didn't do that enough times. So I'm gonna well, this, although I still stuttered and, like, stammered in the stream, I'm glad that, I improved since yesterday's stream. This stream did go more smoothly than the previous stream, and is also a lot shorter, which is good. So I'm going to close out by reiterating the main questions that I have, what I want answers to. So, to what extent are my dad's expectations on me unrealistic, if at all? And to what extent is my own behavior inadequate, not meeting a standard that is reasonable and normal? Right, so am I failing at normal, or are the expectations abnormal, or a mixture of both? But what's like What's the distribution? Is it like 20/80, like 30/70, like the, 90/10? Where does the truth lie? Right? That's what I want to know. So um yeah, Brandon in the chat says he grew up as a boomer. They have the pull your bootstraps up and try harder mindset. Yeah, 100%. 100%, that's absolutely his mindset. Um, and that works. That works if for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for everybody. I think that some kids need extra help and support, and yeah, the tough love parenting style doesn't work for every kid. But yeah, I think that's about all that I want to talk about in this stream. Um, username said he's just a big boomer. Well, technically he's Gen X, not a baby boomer, but it's like everybody who's over 40 is a boomer to us, to us young people. So, username asks, "Are you a sub 5?" Yes, I am a sub 5. I would rate myself about a 4 out of 10. So, do you guys have any more questions? Please ask away in the chat. I'm gonna try to keep the stream. I'm gonna probably end the stream at about an hour. Username says same. I'm a 4 too. Okay. Who inspired me to start making black pilled rant content was DBDR. Or what inspired me? The fact that DBDR gets views. Um also other YouTubers like Loser Maxing, Clowntown or Pygmy Manlet, also Based Escort Cell, also known as Darth Hideous. Um trying to make that bread, trying to get the ad revenue. Okay, so I actually I opened the stream, I viewed the stream on YouTube and I scrubbed back to the part with the landscape and it was just like the audio was just like silent for like a whole 5 fucking minutes. Oh my goodness. Yep, so I was muted. I was muted. Um so I was what I said in the part where I was muted was that the left like as you can see, the left island in this scene it the outline resembles the side profile of a sub 5 male with a receded chin, loose hyoid skin, and a hooked nose, like recessed. And on the right side, this island, the outline, like the coastline, resembles the side profile of a Chad male model with a sharp jaw, protruding chin, straight nose, you know. So yeah, and I'm going to make a Blender tutorial video on how I made this scene in the future. So you can expect that to come out in several months, maybe even a year plus, because I'm very inconsistent with YouTube, and that's something that I really have to improve on if I want to make the ad revenue that I set out to make. So we can just put this bitch full screen. Okay. Brandon says, "You don't have to sound so perfect, man. You already mug most people with the way you speak. I don't see the problem." Okay, well, thank you. I'm just, well, I watch YouTube videos, videos made by people who show their faces, like, such as Charisma on Command, who like does his videos like he can like do a whole video in one take, and he doesn't like stutter or slip up or use any filler words like once. Like this guy is smooth, you know. Like, dude, I want to have the speaking skills of like a door-to-door salesman. I want to speak like how Jordan Belfort sounds on his fucking calls. um, Username says DVDR is great at speaking, but I think most people just enjoy his content, hearing how shit his life is. Yeah, his stories are entertaining. He seems to have a life that is, quite a bit more eventful than he gives it credit for. But he like I can see why he's how he's struggling and how his life is shit. But dude, he has some like experiences that I wish I had. Brandon Matthew, facts, Turbo has a great voice for speaking. Thank you. Okay, guys. Um, that's it for the stream. I'll see you guys in the next one.